How's it going? So it is Friday again. So here we are. Me, Honey, and Chunky Butt. Funny thing about Chunky Butt's name, I got a reminder in the mail from the veterinarian about a week ago. Since her name's in the system that way, it said, this is just a reminder that Chunky Butt needs a rabies shot update. I just always think it's funny they type that out, Chunky Butt. Anyway, what I wanted to do, since I'm doing these videos, last video I put out was a combination of about 3 weeks worth of shed hunts, because I just haven't had one of them really good days, and it took some combining to get enough to where I felt like I had an entertaining video. Hopefully we'll do better today. I actually came back to the same spot I was in on Saturday of last week, because I think there's got to be antlers out here. So I'm going to give it another try, one more day. But it occurs to me that because I'm out here in the summer, still pushing it, still looking for antlers, most people quit, you know, when it gets hot, and especially most of you right now are starting to get in the mode of scouting for deer and elk and all your other hunts, and that's cool. I've hunted our mountain enough years. I don't need to scout. I know where the deer are going to be in the bow season. I know where they're going to be in the muzzleloader season. And I'd rather shed hunt than scout when I already kind of know. I mean, for a general season tag, if I had a limited entry or somebody I was helping, I would do more scouting because I need to find specific animals. But anyway, so I'm going to be out here in the summer, and it occurs to me that I might influence some of you to go, hey, man, why don't I go give it a try? It's, what the heck, it's mid-July and it's only 105 degrees out. Let's go walk around. So I wanted to give you some tips to help keep you safe if you decide to do that. If there's those of you that don't have a ton of experience out in the heat in the desert, or even if you're up on the mountain and it's high and it's 80, 85 degrees, if you're not used to it, that's a whole different ball game. So I wanted to give you some tips, and hopefully we'll find an antler here while I'm doing it. Obviously the number one key is hydration, and hydration doesn't mean I took enough water here in my pack and later on when I start getting thirsty I'll start drinking it. I start hydrating for a Friday hike Wednesday and Thursday. You literally need to be hydrated the day before. It's kind of like, you know, when I was running marathons and that stuff. Nutritionally, you start preparing for that 24, 36 hours out. It's too late to get water in your system if you're still out in the heat, if you're going to still be hiking in that, when you start getting thirsty. You got to get hydrated first. So start out hydrated. Second, you got to make sure you do carry enough water and you continually drink before you're getting thirsty. I want to give you an example. You know, I tolerate heat very well, but I have been to the point of being heat stroked and puking and crawling on my hands and knees. So it can be dangerous. The other day, my morning routine involved stepping on the scale. And so, like usual, I stepped on the scale and noted my weight. I'm actually trying to gain weight right now, so I'm hoping to see the numbers go up. And then I went on my hike. And on my hike, I had 6 water bottles in my pack. And I found a pretty good load of elk sheds that day. We might find an arrowhead right here. Got all the signs. I found 6 elk sheds that day, and it was hot, and it was a brutal hike out. So I drank all 6 water bottles on the hike. When I got back to the truck, I had a 32 ounce or a 1 liter soda at the truck, and I drank that as I drove into town. When I got to town, I stopped at patio, ordered lunch, got myself a 32 ounce drink, drank the entire 32 ounce drink, refilled it, drank another one while I was eating my lunch or dinner, and then when I drove home, I refilled that 32-ounce drink again with water and drank it again. And then I stepped on the scale, and I was 8 pounds lighter then than I had been that morning. 8 pounds of all just water lost, dehydration, even after drinking all that water that day. My point is, you can sweat out water way faster than you can put it into yourself. Your body just can't process and get the water to the cells fast enough. If it's a losing battle when it's 100 plus degrees out here. So you have to stay on top of it and stay hydrated. Number two, you got to use some common sense. There's a lot of days when it's cool and in the spring and fall where I will do 25, 30, even sometimes 35 miles on my feet in extremely rough country, and do that Friday and Saturday. In this heat, like say for example Friday and Saturday of last week, my hikes were like 17 and 18 miles, and that's brutal. And this isn't near as canyony as the country. Camera shut off for some reason. Anyway, my point is, I dial it back how many miles I put in, because I just simply can't put in as many miles in this heat. I might still be the same amount of time on my feet, but to expect to put in 25, 30 miles in this desert stuff and be able to come back and go again tomorrow, not going to happen. There's a little bit of a basket maker ruin right here. Want to see it? Can't see it that well, but there's going to be a pit house right there. Oh, look, looks square. That's interesting. This is actually a little bit different than most of them, but here's the trash pile from it. You notice it's mostly just broken rock, no pottery in it. You might see a piece of grayware, but I don't even see grayware. But this is all fire broken rock. They had a little campsite, little dwelling, and these guys made some nice arrowheads. The basket makers didn't have the bow and arrow, so it's all atlatl darts, spears, knives. So if we were to find an arrowhead right here, it would be a good one. But I don't see one right now, so. Anyway, back to my next tip is, I suggest that you wear long sleeve shirts. One, it keeps the sun off of you, so you're not getting sunburnt and skin damaged every single day you're out. Sunburn's bad. But a long sleeve shirt will allow you to catch a lot more of the moisture that your body's sweating out, and it helps cool you a lot better than just bare skin does. So I am almost always in a long sleeve shirt. Everybody, just a couple weeks ago, somebody here local got lost, and it took him a couple days to find him. When they found him, he was walking around with his shirt off because he said he got hot. No, you're not cooler with your shirt off. You're getting sunburnt, you're getting just baked. So keep your shirt on, wear a long sleeve shirt. Let's see. Now, the types of things that I like to eat, I like apples and oranges. They're excellent snacks or food when you're out in this hot stuff, because there's an elk track right here, clear down here, amazing. An apple's like drinking, a quarter of a cup of water. It's got lots of sugar, but the sugars are with the fiber, so that your blood sugar doesn't spike like if you're eating a candy bar full of sugar. Apples and oranges are my favorite hot weather treats. Let me think. Okay, next tip. Water, you should always carry enough water, more than you think you're going to need. Always more than you think you're going to need. I like to freeze my water. Like right now, I have 2 frozen Powerades in my pack. That keeps all the rest of the water that's in my pack cool. I like to have a few frozen waters and then a few that are not frozen. when it starts to get really hot in the afternoon, I'll pull out one of those frozen ones and just carry it in my hand and sip it as it's melting. I'm constantly taking cool fluid in, keeps me cool, and helps keep me hydrated because I just take in a little bit at a time constantly. But as an emergency, you should also start paying attention when you're out in the hills, the desert, wherever you're at. When you find a spring, water, stream, creek, anything like that, pay attention to the vegetation that you see in those areas. For example, this area right here where I'm at, if I see a cottonwood tree, and I can see them out here in the distance. If I see willows, there's several different plants in this area that tells me that there's at least surface water right there, and I have a chance of finding some water above ground. And in an emergency, a lot of times it's close enough to the surface you can do a little bit of digging and get yourself some water. If you're going to do that, and you should, you need to have either the water purification tablets or one of those, inexpensive Life straws, something like that, some way of getting yourself more water, because you don't want to get into a situation where you're forced to drink water out of a puddle, out of a stream or something like that, and then you got cryptosporidium or giardia or whatever. I mean, that's just dang near as bad as dehydration. So make sure you have a backup way of getting water. Pay attention to your surroundings and learn on the days when you don't need water how to find water, so that the days you do need it, like I could, if I needed to, within 30 minutes. I'm here in the desert. You can see what I'm walking in, this juniper, pinyon. It's high Utah desert, but most people would not think there was any place out here to get water. I could, within 30 minutes, find water in this area. I know the places to look. Without specifically knowing any water locations, I am confident that when I need to, I can get those dogs to water, even here in July, when a lot of things are dried up. Oh, this is almost funny. I'm almost back to the truck. Haven't found anything. There we go. We didn't get skunked today. That isn't what we were looking for, but there's one. There's one. I'm going to show you what caught my eye here. Well, I saw that little broken mono, a couple pieces of pottery. Then you got that little guy right there. What do you think that is? It looks like a broken pendant. Let's see. Oh, yep, look. So this edge right here is definitely worked, and this edge. This is a broken edge, and they had started to drill it. Come on. See that? This was the top. It would have gone down this way. The top of a pendant, and when they were trying to drill it right there, they snapped it off right here and discarded it. That's a cool little artifact right there. Something. Pendants are pretty hard to find. I find maybe one broken one a year, and maybe every second or third year I see a whole one. So that's pretty cool. Pendant would have been jewelry, earring, something like that, usually on a necklace or something like that. All right, it is Saturday morning. Yesterday was kind of a bust. I'm just starting out this morning. The sun's just up over the horizon. Started a little bit earlier so I can maybe get in a longer day. And I mean, I can see the truck over there. And I was gonna go another half mile further down the road, but just like the look of this ridge, I just saw this and thought, well, shoot, I bet you the deer travel that ridge right there. But there was just boot tracks all over right here below me. And so this kind of surprises me, because this little guy has been here long enough to soak up the red from the dirt. But look at how that thing's just skylined like a white flag right here. I can't believe that I haven't seen that one and nobody else has seen that one, and it's laying right here where it's laying. because that thing has laid there for 10 years. Just like a sore thumb up here. But that's nice to have one start the day. Just a decent 3. There we go. Right there in the center. Can't tell if it's just a big 2-point or if it's chalked up and broken. But let's go find out. Right there. Little of both. It's just a 3-point. And it's old. That's okay, because that just tells me I'm walking on a bench that I've missed. I haven't been on this particular bench before. It's a good sign. I just walked right through here to right here. I'm coming this way. Just happened to look over my left shoulder. I just about walked past that one. Another 3. I'm liking the looks of this mesa I'm on, but sure would like to turn up some browns in here. Or something big. And we got another 3-point. It's funny, these little 3-points is what I'm picking up. All of them old. Good grief, I really thought that I'd be coming in here to look for browns. But that's what we're finding. See the cottonwood tree? Dry wash up and down. Water seeping out right there. There's water in a pinch. There you go, willows. That kind of grass. That only comes when there's water at the surface. You start seeing those signs, and look at deer been hitting this one. I wouldn't drink out of that without something to purify it though. You'd wish you hadn't. But there's water. If you had a live straw, you'd be alright. And that cottonwood tree right there would show you that you were close to this. Well, here we got another one. Another 3-point. This one's at least not a chalker. That's, what, 4 3-points in a row? Good grief. Good girl. Good girl. Good girl. Oh, that thing's getting you in the eyeball, isn't it? Good doggy. Go find the other one. Find another one. Find another one. Find him up. Find him up. Her nose tells her it's there. There we go. There's a good girl. There's a good pup. Good girl. Good girl. What do you think? Right there in the center of the screen. You look at the way the light's hitting it. It's right next to a log, but it's reflecting light slightly differently. I think that's an antler. Let's go look. I was right. Honey's eyes were not as good as mine. See that? It's just a 2-point, but laying next to that tree, you got to kind of be able to tell the difference between the reflection. Honey, where is it? Between the reflection of an antler and the reflection of a stick. Where is it? Where is it? She's hunting. She doesn't realize I'm right on top of it now. This one's just a little too buried, I guess. There it is. There it is. No, bring it here. Where do you think you're going? That's a nasty habit to start. Good girl. Good girl. Good girl. That's the one you were looking for. See that right there and that right there? Just a little bit of a difference in the way they reflect light. And that's the telltale sign. That was probably, I don't know, 50 yards away or so. All right, let's keep going. Well, let me talk about something real quick. So Friday last week, I did the sections of safely hunting in the heat. And then Saturday I went out and broke every rule I gave you. I didn't take the dog, so I planned on doing a longer day. I didn't pick the right shoes. I picked some lighter weight shoes thinking that it'd help me go further. Problem is they were mesh top and they kept filling full of sand. And just to make it short, by the time I got back to the road, my feet were blistered, entire soles of my feet. I knew I was close to the road, so I drank my last water. And then I hit the road and checked, and I was 22 miles in, which is just a little longer, a couple miles further than I'd planned on going. No problem yet, right? Well, I was 6 miles from the truck, but I thought, well, no problem. This road, someone's going to be along, and I'll just get a ride. Nobody came. And it was about 4:30, 5 o'clock, hottest part of the day. I knew I was out of water, so I knew I couldn't just sit there. So I started hiking to the truck, and the road was a light-colored road. That sun was baking up off of it. I drank all my water. I had pushed myself to my physical limit, and it sucked. I had to lay down a couple times in the shade under some ditches to keep my body temperature down. But as soon as I would lay down, I would cramp up. And like serious cramping. I mean, from waist down, starting at my feet, traveling at my calves, my quads, my hamstrings, my glutes, everything would lock up, so I'd have to get back up. Anyway, it took me several hours. By the time I got to the truck, I was in pretty serious condition. Now I'd kept my temperature down, and I'd actually taken in quite a bit of fluid throughout the day. The problem is electrolytes. You sweat so much. I had 4 Powerades. But when you still lose that many electrolytes, that's what causes the cramping. For almost 3 hours, driving home with everything locked up. Oh, you guys would have laughed. Oh, it was miserable. I was taking magnesium, sodium, and Duralite caps, but it still took 3 or 4 hours to get my electrolytes back in balance. So I want you to, look, you got to be careful. I want you to learn a lesson. I can go out one day and teach you how to do it safe, and then, you know, one day after that, I miscalculate where I come out, and it could have been serious. But anyway, I just want you to learn a lesson from that. Be careful. Always keep a little in the tank. Thankfully, everything was okay. And let's hope to have a better day today. I'm actually right back out in the same area. We got a really good rainstorm yesterday, so I know there'll be some water out here for honey. And Should be cooler today. It's supposed to be partly overcast. So I'll plan on doing, 18 miles or so. But just to give you an idea, Saturday, I left the house weighed at 191. I drank 4 Powerades, 4 waters, and a soda pop throughout the day. When I got back home, I was 170.4. That's how much fluid I'd lost. Which is why my electrolytes were so screwed up. Salt tablets would not be a bad idea to carry on these. There's not really enough electrolytes in Gatorade or Powerade to replace those. Today I got a couple bananas, stuff like that. Try and stay on top of it. But it shouldn't be. It's probably going to be 10 degrees cooler today. It was like 104, 105 that day. And I ended up doing 28 miles for 4 3-point antlers. Anyway, learn a lesson and wish me luck that we have a good day today. Man, this looks good out in front of us. Let's go glass it. Look at that. Does that look like the world's biggest 2-point or what? Now, the thing is, I came up here to glass down into this little pocket right here because last year I found a set and a single in this little pocket. It's 100 yards long, 100 yards across. I walked this bench right here and glassed the whole bottom of it looking for the other side of the single and never found it. Now, if that's not a brown down there, I missed that antler last year. Missed it clean. Hard to say, but let's go down and see what it is. Looks like a big O2. Honey, come here. Come here. Oh. I just called her over here before she finds this one I just saw. Looks to me like, hang on, like a good antler. Older with some chewing on the tips, but I think it's a big dude. Honey, you want to go get that antler? You know where it is. Go get it. Whoa, look at that eye guard. Good girl. Good girl. Good dog. Good girl. Good girl. Oh, man. A couple years late on that guy. Look at that. I know that buck. I think I've got another shed off of him. That eye guard's the tail. We'll see when we get home. But there we go. It's finally a big one. There's a big boy. Whew, she is tired. I'm tired. Oh, what do we got over there? Holy crap, I just stood up too quick and about went over backwards. It's hot. We're actually looping back. We're probably 4 or 5 miles from the truck, but making our way. Let's check and make sure that wasn't the other side over there. Anyway, we'll keep pushing this bench. But there we go. Finally we got a big guy. I've been scratching my head because when I've shed hunted in here in the past, I rarely find any small ones, and last 2 trips have been nothing but 2 points and 3 points. So I'm excited to see a big guy, even if he's a little old, a little chewed. When I get home, I'll show you what buck I think he is. If he's that buck, oh, look at that little kicker on him. That's almost certainly him. Somebody else will know what buck this is because he's got a shed off of him. And the single that I've got off of this buck is over 100 inches from a year or 2 after that. That might match up somebody else's set. We'll see. Look at that. Good girl. That other big one was right there in that bottom. We went about 5 steps. Good girl. You want that one? You can have that one. Good dog. Good girl. That's how you do it. You're tired, huh? Let's head out. I've been getting her, keeping her wet and getting her in water. There's plenty out here, but it's still hot. So I wanted to put one postscript on the comments I've made about shed hunting in the heat. Probably a mistake to, sorry, picking up these antlers, to mention distances, because look, endurance is a gift. I have uncommon endurance, and I stay in shape, and I do a lot of miles, and I stay acclimatized. So when I talk about, you know, on a regular day, if I do 17 to 20 miles, and on a big day 30 plus, understand that you guys probably aren't going to be able to do that, not even close to that. So don't be beating yourself up if you can't, because I mean, most guys that are much younger than me and in much better shape, they can't do it. It's one of the things that luckily I have a God-given ability that I've always had, and I've developed, and I stay on top of. I'm just giving you those for reference to let you know that, you know, for anybody, at temperatures over 100 degrees, 25 plus miles is a brutal day. 10 miles is a brutal day. If I was to check, I bet you that's where about now, 10, 12. Anyway, the reason why I think this is a match is that right across the canyon over here, I can't show you, I found another side off of this buck last year. Hopefully I can find another side here on this bench as I come out. All right, here we go. No doubt about it. I had it right. So look at this eye guard. This eye guard, I mean, that blading on it, just to a T. Definitely signature. I would say this is probably 2 years before this one. This little cheater right here turned into an inline and a cheater back there on the back. Like I said, that antler right there scores about 101 inches. This one right here is probably in the, I would say probably 75 to 80 inch, something like that, if it was all there. Just a younger version of that one, but that's cool to see another year off that buck. You can see in the swoop of that tine and the swoop right there, same. The way that one comes off of there, the way that normal fork is and that normal fork is. Same buck, that's cool. What do you think?